If you're on the prowl for an alternative to cigarettes, Nin nicotine pouches might be the right solution for you. So what are nicotine pouches? They're a tobacco-free way to get the nicotine buzz you crave. Nin is a potent, pure product without the harsh tobacco taste or unwanted properties of the tobacco plant. If you're ready to become a part of the next chapter of nicotine history, give Nin nicotine pouches a try today. Go to ninpouches.com. That's NIIN pouches.com today and enjoy free shipping on orders $40 or more.
Hello, and welcome to Life of a Boss, the podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, public speaker, and mentor, Jason Hardin. This podcast is all about helping audiences create and reach their own definition of success through positive thinking, perseverance, and personal development. Having survived extreme obstacles from an early age, such as cancer, poverty, abuse, family dysfunction, and even homelessness, Jason has learned how to master the art of resilience and defy all odds to become the boss he is today. So, get ready for some serious game and remember to keep an open mind. Now, without further delay, here is your host, Jason Hardin.
Thank you so much, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here as always. I'm excited to, share another wonderful episode. We have a very special episode today because we have a very special guest, somebody I admire, somebody I respect, somebody that, we don't always have the same views, but I think in the end we have the same goals and the same visions, and that's just to see other people succeed and to see other people make it. You know what I'm saying? That's what the point of the show is. And this gentleman is a serial business owner, but he's in the restaurant industry, been in the restaurant industry for 40 years plus. So many awards, the Humanitarian Award, the Golden Plate Award, so many business awards, and he's just an all-around great guy and a community man. He's very involved in the community, very involved in the neighborhood. I am fortunate to call him a neighbor because he does live in my city of Pasadena, California, a very influential city. So you can just see and imagine what he's into and what he has going on. And that gentleman's name is Robin Salzer. How you doing, Robin Salzer?
Hey, I'm fine, and thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
Well, I am lucky to have you because I know you're a busy man. I know you're recently retired, so you're probably more busy. I know when you're working, you might be a little more closer to home, but retired, you could be anywhere in the world. So thank you for being on the show today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. And my honor.
No problem at all. And today, like I said, you're on the show because you are a boss in my perspective, in my eyes, and that's on the outside looking in. I see a gentleman that does a lot for his community, very out there, very active, very vocal, very, very open about his views and opinions, and he doesn't back down for anybody, and he steps up when other people don't. And that's what I appreciate more than anything, because a lot of people have a lot of opinions, but there are a few folks putting in that work, and you put in that work, my brother. So first of all, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And again, Pasadena has been wonderful to me, and it's always, you don't even think about it. You work in unison, and people have supported me from the community, and it's just like a natural extension to support anybody and everybody that needs a helping hand too.
I tell a lot of folks that who don't really know Pasadena, it's much like a family. People think Pasadena is this huge city because they see it on TV all over the world every year, but it's really a 23 square mile city, and you can literally walk from one end to the other end in maybe a couple hours. So it's really a small neighborhood feel, and it's really a family. And that's why, that's how I know you, because once you're involved in the community, you meet everybody who is involved in the community. And that's how we cross paths, and that's how I got to, really know of your work and what you do. And I knew of your work before that, but knowing that you were the one behind it once I knew you, because like I said, when you really do things in the community and just in business or anything to a major level, your reputation kind of precedes you. So your reputation was out there before I even knew you. The things you were doing were in my community, and I was a part of, and going to your meals program and things like that, and didn't know it was your hot meals program. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you're on the show to me. You've done so many things. You made so many things happen for a lot of other people as well as yourself, and that's success to me. And you do it because this is what you love to do. It looks like your definition of success. And that's why I guess my first question is, what is your definition of success, Bob? And we'll start there.
Well, I think that, I'll give you a 6-word formula for success. It's think things through and then follow through. You can have any goal or aspiration, but if you don't have a plan, if you're not the architect of your own plan, that success is going to be fleeting. So, you have to think things through first, and then you have to follow through. And I think that regardless of whatever business or a civic endeavor you start, we're judged by what we finish, not by what we start. There's a lot of, false starts, and they never go anywhere. So I think that you have to follow through, you have to think it out, and you have to finish whatever you start. I think a lot of people shun from complaints. We criticize. You've been in the political realm. You've gotten criticized, and and the majority of things that we all get criticized are baseless. It's just people's insecurities, and they don't know us. And I always looked at a complaint. A complaint is not a complaint. It's an opportunity to show the customer or your colleague or city resident that you really care and you do give a damn about what the situation. Rather than run from the situation, you deal with it. So I think that I think more important than what are the stepping stones for success. I think what are the failures for success, and I think you can put that on 9 or 10 of your fingers. Failure to anticipate, failure to communicate, with your team and with people. Failure to collaborate and bring in other people, and like you and I are doing tonight, we're collaborating ideas. Failure to innovate and to think on your feet rather than copy and rehash the same old things. You have to be innovative. Failure to pre-solve problems. You have to think about what's going to happen if this doesn't work. What's going to happen if that doesn't work? You have to have a plan in place, an exit strategy, a fix strategy. Something happens. A failure to differentiate yourself. When you were running for mayor, you needed to differentiate yourself from the other candidates. I ran for public office. It was easy for me to differentiate myself because I looked differently than most of the people who are running for that office. But in the business realm, in the restaurant business, I have to differentiate myself from the other businesses to inspire and aspire customers to come into my front doors. A lot of people fail because they fail to motivate their staff. To be responsive, to be friendly, to be communicative, to be clean, and to give that extra step for good service. A lot of people fail because they forget to protect their assets. They think that every dollar that comes into the cash register is theirs. They forget that taxes due, and there's vendors that are due, and there's payroll that is due, and in the restaurant business, the average margin, people think you make millions and millions of dollars, but the average margin is anywhere between 5 and 6% of a bottom line, and that is low.
Extremely low.
And why is it? Because it's a very labor-intense business. You have employees, and you have cooks payroll. And waiters. You have high payroll, and that's your largest bill. And then, all of that, if you don't follow the golden road to success, you're gonna fail. So I think that you need to have a game plan in place, and I think a lot of you have to outmarket your competition. The same thing you did when you were a candidate too. You have to be ubiquitous. You have to be everywhere.
Absolutely.
You're on Facebook and you have your apparel and you have your podcast. Everybody knows Jason Hardin, and if if they don't know Jason Hardin, they're in Siberia. Get involved with the community. The community will support you. They're going to be your customer. They're going to be your lifeline. So, it behooves you to reinvest into the community that is investing into you. They're investing their money. They're investing their children to work for you. The word of mouth is priceless. So, all these things add up to success. And I think that the one thing that at the end of the day, regardless of whether you have a Wharton School of Business degree or you went to PCC or you just got a doctorate in the School of Hard Knocks, you have to have a hard ethic. You need to be able to work, and you need to be able to sacrifice holidays and basketball games and nights out, because sometimes you just have to work. And at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to be judged. You're the one who has to make the payroll. You're the one that generally has your name on the front door, and you're the one that they're going to complain to if there's a problem. You need to step up for that.
Okay. One thing I like is that you answered a lot of questions, Robin. You answered several questions. And I like that because there's a lot of information there. And I know that, like I said, I want to get the information out of you. So all that is gold. But one of the first things you said was planning, and I wanted to ask you, first of all, for the folks that don't know, Robin owned his first franchise restaurant at the age of 23. Am I correct?
And I was the youngest franchise owner, still might be, of an International House of Pancakes franchise in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I started off at 16 as a dishwasher and worked my way up. And when I turned 23, I bought the franchise. My parents weren't wealthy. Franchises weren't cheap. But I worked 2 jobs. I worked in laundry. I was people see me as a successful restaurant owner, but I was a proud card-carrying, picket-walking union member of UAW Local 467. I was a strike organizer. I walked the picket line. I read people, and I've been blessed to be on both sides of the coin. So, yeah, I started off at a very young age, and I matured at a very young age, because at 23, the upside is incredible, but the downside is scary.
Oh, I can imagine. And you don't have a lot of experience to dwell on at 23. I'm pretty sure that you starting an IHOP right now would probably be something that you could do, with your eyes closed. You know the business, but at 23, that's actually an amazing thing to own an IHOP at 23 years old, and that's incredible. And to not come from a wealthy family. See, a lot of people might not know that you're a self-made man. You know what I'm saying? And I've always respected that. You're not what they say a trust fund baby. And I don't know if you are. I'm just assuming now, but because if you're not wealthy, you usually don't have that trust fund. But you started literally from the bottom, like you said, from a dishwasher. You didn't get gifted in IHOP, and so my next question would be, is the dishwashing job, that very first job, did that form your definition of success in regards to wanting to get into the restaurant business? Because you're absolute success in the restaurant business. If you last 5 years, you're considered a successful business, but to last 41 years, and not just with the IHOP, but to come to the West Coast and start another business and restaurant in a very competitive city and in a big city, compared to probably where you were at. So what shaped that goal? What did you always see restaurants? Did somebody say, "Man, you're a great cook"? Did you make barbecue back in the days when you were in your teens? What was it that made you choose that? Was it the job, or was it all the opportunities you saw while working there?
You know what it was? On Sunday afternoons after the church rush, our boss at the IHOP, Mr. Pedropoli, would bring his Cadillac around to the back, and he'd say, "Okay, boys, lunch is over. It's time to clean my car and wash my car." And he said it in a real positive way, and we were thrilled to wash his Cadillac. He had a Fleetwood Brougham, and he got a new one every year. And I loved washing his car. And he had those thick, wide white walls. And he said, "Whoever cleaned the windows the best, I'm going to give you a ride around the block in it." And I mean, mine's sparkling. And so something was ingrained in me, and I said, you know what, I want to own a Cadillac like that someday. And I'm going to be able to get a Cadillac is I got to own an IHOP. I have to buy a restaurant. And so I forgave some athletics. I worked in a foundry. Like I said, I worked at Master Lock. I was in the union. I bartended at night. I cooked at the IHOP on weekends and saved money for 4 years. And I saved up as much money as I could, and I was able to buy that franchise. And I begged them. I would call the headquarters in Bensenville, Illinois, almost daily, saying, and I knew my boss he was helping me, facilitate it, but I had to sell him on me. I wasn't, one of these old, rich franchise owners, and they took a chance on me.
Yeah.
And I remember
because people don't realize that a franchise is not really your whole organization. Meaning they can say no even if you have the money. You know what I'm saying? Other people can stop that. So they had to take a chance on a 23-year-old running with their name, and obviously you made that happen.
Oh, and I learned the hard way. It definitely was a school of hard knocks. I transitioned from an employee on Sunday night to the owner on Monday. All my friends that were working there, all my colleagues.
That's hilarious. You were the boss.
All of a sudden, I'm the boss. Oh, Robin's not going to care if I come in late. Oh, I'm going to take the day off. I was cooking shifts. I was waiting tables.
So it was that double-edged sword. It was like, okay, I accomplished this at such a young age. I'm grown. I'm up there. I'm the boss. But then other people look at you like, you're 23. You're the homie. You're the friend. You're my couple. Man, you cool. So those are the challenges that I'm sure a lot of people didn't see or didn't understand until you.
No, but I did. I understood them because I was actually living. And so, I ended up letting everybody go within a year except for one guy, Junior Dixon, who I was a busboy with, and he just wanted to be a busboy and dishwasher, and me and Junior were the only ones left standing, and we hired new people. I hired new people, and it just worked. But I succeeded on fright, because I remember the second day I was there, the HVAC guy who I knew for years as a cook working there, went in repair our refrigeration. I overheard him talking to one of the company reps that was their training. He said, "Oh, I give this guy 6 months and he's going to be gone." And that scared the hell out of me. And I'm just, I didn't get angry, but I was scared. And I said, I can't let this happen. This is my golden opportunity. This is my one, to get that Cadillac, but to be successful. and I was so proud, Jason, when they gave me my plaque, my franchise plaque, IHOP number 1243. I hung it at Robin's for 38 years. I still have it here. And it made me feel so good, because when I would go into these IHOPs and I'd see the franchise name, owner's name on the plaque. And so that scared me. And I think it scared me in such a way that I wasn't going to let anything get me down. If I had to work from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, 11 at night, I was single, I was young. I did. I lived in that business, and I took the sales. There were 8 IHOPs in the city of Milwaukee at that time. I took the lowest volume IHOP to the second busiest volume IHOP in 40.
Okay, another question. All right, you're 23 years old. You own this IHOP. Where did all that game come from? Because like I said, there wasn't much experience. You were a dishwasher, so you probably got a little bit of the restaurant business going. But where is that I guess that knowledge or that wisdom coming from as to really run that business at 23? Because, a lot of kids are partying at 23. They're in college at 23. They have no responsibilities at 23. And you with the restaurant, and not just with the restaurant and had it for a couple of years and ran into the ground, but with the restaurant and had the maturity to fire people. Had the maturity to let people go that you were working with, had that, you know what I'm saying? That takes maturity. And it doesn't take just being mean, and it doesn't take being nice. It takes maturity and that decision making. Who gave you that, or where did you develop that? Because that obviously was in you before you owned the restaurant. Like I always say, success is a lifestyle. The day you got that restaurant wasn't the day you became successful. It was whatever led up to that and every day after that. That was just a moment in your success. So where did that success start? That's why I want to know. Was it with your boss and that looking at that Cadillac? Did that do it? And was he your mentor? What was it?
Well, I think that was the motivating goal to start with, and I think then the employees who didn't respect me and looked at me as a peer rather than their boss, and would I can say it today because I've grown immensely from that. Walked all over me.
Mm-hmm.
It became, I didn't own. And to be perfectly honest with you, I may have financially owned that restaurant, but they owned that restaurant because they weren't following the guidelines. They took advantage of me. They would come in when they wanted. They did their, but it lacks the basic code.
So you were paying for it, but everybody else act like they owned the place.
And nobody was stealing or anything like that.
Yeah,
so it was
yeah.
Just a lack. And so I think as I changed things, and as I brought in new people, but as also my work ethic, and I was there. I wasn't at the golf course. I wasn't, coming, leaving at 2. I was there all the time. So I had, I saw everything. I worked hard, and as I was bringing in new people, and they saw my work ethic, they bought into it.
Did you always love it? Because obviously, like I said, it seemed like something you had a lot of fun with. Because you look like a person that doesn't do what he doesn't enjoy too long. You're very outspoken, and you're very yourself. So was there something from that early age, as the dishwasher, as the busboy, was there something that you really enjoyed from jump? Like, did you know that was going to be the business you were going to be in for so long, and to pretty much make you your fortune in your life that you live now?
Well, you really don't know what is going to be out ahead of you, but you lay this foundation down. And first and foremost, before you do anything, you have to love what you're doing. And I love the restaurant business. I would read all the restaurant magazines that would come in. I would go to all the seminars, all the restaurant conventions and trade shows.
It was fun to you.
I would do that.
It was fun, right?
It was fun, and you learn, and I had fun every day. I loved talking with customers. I would be in the kitchen, cooking, helping the cook, talking to customers as they came in. I think because of my young age, people, they respected me, the customers, like, wow, go-getter, even though some of my staff thought I was just one of theirs and then they could get away with things. But I love the business, and I think if you have a passion for whatever you do in life, you will not be successful if you don't love it.
I totally believe that.
You can go through the motions. You can, have that fake smile, and you can give that firm handshake, and then just, roll your eyes as you walk away from that person. That stays with you, and I think people see through that. I loved it. The thing about a breakfast restaurant, I love the crackling of the bacon in the morning, the smell of it. I would go home and smell like bacon, but I loved hearing it cook on the grill. I love flipping eggs. With barbecue, I mean, I'd come home at night and, my wife would say, take a shower, you smell like a rib. But I love the smell of it and just working with people. But the most important thing, outside of any monetary gains and advantages that you got, the most important thing to me was people said, man, that was a good meal. Well, we really loved my daughter, we brought our daughter in here when she was 2 years old. Now she's bringing in her kids. We're bringing our grandkids in here. They've been coming in there for 30 years.
Wow.
When people say they really love the restaurant, and when your name is on the restaurant, they love you too.
Yeah, and right.
That motivated me to handle every obstacle that was set before me. And believe me, when you're self-employed for 40-some years, you see it all. And you experience it all, and some people buckle under from it, and some people, again, they pre-solve these problems, or at least they have a game plan. And if they don't have a game plan because it's a problem that they're not accustomed to, they have the moxie and the wherewithal within, not monetarily, but the guts and the strength, the inner core strength, to will themselves through it through hard, sheer work and motivation, and building a team around you that will help support you and build.
One thing that I wanted to ask you, and always wanted to ask you, and I can guess the answer, but I'd like to get it from you. You have a very diverse circle of friends. Let's put it that way. You know, you live in one part of town, and you support, certain candidates and things like that. But you also have, a great attachment to neighborhoods of which where I live. And people that don't know, Pasadena is a very diverse place, but it's like the tale of two cities out here. You have uptown, you have downtown, you have on the other side of the freeway and this side of the freeway. And the thing about that is, like, you work with everybody. And I guess I wanted to kind of really, and I get it now that you tell me your story and more in depth about how you started. It's like, where was that? What were those relationships built, or what were the experiences that allowed you to interact with people on such a diverse level? Because for those that don't know, you sat on the board of the NAACP in Pasadena. You've been awarded awards from the NAACP. You know what I'm saying? And not just that, but the Latino heritage. So you work with a lot of different groups. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you're successful by shutting a bunch of people out and you just live in this bubble where you just trade stocks or do it with those diabolical rich folks do. You know what I'm saying? But you are really a part of the community, and I always wondered where that came from. But listening to your story about, the diverse background of employees that you work with and employees that you've had in the restaurant, because there's few things more diverse than a restaurant business. To be honest, like, everybody has to eat. so you're gonna, even if there's only one kind of people working there, you're dealing with customers. So yeah, is that where you got your love for people? Because you love people. I can say that. I can see that. So is that where you got your love for people, from the restaurant business, and why you're so successful in engaging and creating these relationships and making these connections with the community and folks from different neighborhoods?
Well, I've always had just, going back to playing basketball and playing, living at the south side of Milwaukee, but playing at the downtown YMCA. And at a very young age, I met people that didn't look like me, but they're people. Mm-hmm. And they're friends. And they would come over to my house on the south side of Milwaukee. Sometimes the first time people ever, I brought anybody of color or, to my neighborhood. Mm. And my parents were, very accepting because they were my friends. And I may have had neighbors that might look cross-eyed, but that was their problem.
Yeah.
And when you own a restaurant, it's like a barbershop, in the community. Everybody comes out. Everybody hangs out. And our late, wonderful, beloved friend Walt Jackson used to sit in the counter at Robin's, in the counter 99, and talk to everybody and anybody who walked in because he felt there. And people would come in and say, Robin, who are you voting for? Robin, what do you think of the Lakers? Robin, taxes, this, Robin this, Robin that. And you, over decades, not weeks, decades, it was a spot for people to come and hang out. So when I ran for city council, and that was probably, I've always liked people, and I've always believed, treat people the way I was treated. And when somebody would mistreat me, I didn't mistreat them back. I just didn't have time for them. Yeah. There were too many people out there, and I'm not going to extend that negative energy on being mad. I just cut them out and had more time to spend with really good people. Mm-hmm. But when I ran for city, and I would be invited, a lot of, again, when you're in the restaurant business, people know you. And I had people that would know me from the restaurant, in Northwest Pasadena, and they'd invite me into their kitchen for water or lemonade. They'd open up their kitchens to me and their refrigerators, and they were empty. And I said to myself, and I said to Walt, I said, we got to do something about this, because, these people don't have anything here. And I think that's where where the hot meal program came from. But to answer your question, about people, I think that if people were just kind, I think that you talk about, random acts of kindness, and occasionally you'll hear that once a year, it's Kindness Day. I think there should be everyday acts of kindness.
Absolutely.
Respecting people, respecting your elders, opening the door for people. I think it's wonderful that when you're walking down through the community or walking through Old Pasadena, you don't have to say hello to anybody, but the nod, the head, the head. that goes a long way. That's acceptance. A lot of people don't understand that. That's like, you're cool, I'm cool, and life goes on. I think that if everybody was just nicer, if everybody, exercised an everyday act of kindness, if they taught their children that, if they respected their life and they respected the people around them, we would have a much better society. Unfortunately, it's not that way. But for me, I treat people the way I'm treated, and thank God, and I've been blessed. I've been, I have a wonderful group of friends, and I don't have a like a litmus test, or I don't have a quota system. I mean,
I get what you're saying.
when we play basketball, who's going to show up, and everybody's welcome. That's within, that we all, get along with. Rodney King said something, the famous Rodney King, who was a customer of mine at Robbins, by the way.
Wow.
And his most prolific statement was, "Can't we all just get along?" And he said that under duress. And that is a very important statement. And regardless of what political persuasion, sexual persuasion, gender, religious persuasion, we need to get along. And if you get along with people, you're going to be successful. I don't think anybody can go into any business today of any sort, whether it's a car wash, a restaurant, an apparel business, a law business, a dental practice, or if you do not like people, then you should be a telemarketer behind a phone.
Yeah.
And where nobody gets to see you.
And nobody has to know you.
Nobody has to know you, but when you're in the city, like you said, it's 23 miles in diameter. It's a big city, and everybody knows you.
Yeah. One question, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. But one thing I'm very curious to say or to ask you is, you had it together. Let's just say, like, you really had it together to be 23 years old and into the discipline of saving money. I mean, you weren't buying bubble gum and candy, you weren't buying video games or whatever else, and you weren't buying the little cars in between the Cadillac. You were focused. You didn't buy a bunch of Mustangs and stuff on the way to the Cadillac. But I want to know that if you can go back in time, having had all that sense and all that knowledge and just that intuition at such a young age, if you can go back in time now, what would you tell yourself that you didn't have? Like what was that one thing that you think you didn't have, that if you had that chance to go back and tell yourself now, what would that be? Because you had everything together. So what was missing? What advice would you give that 23-year-old, even though that 23-year-old still succeeded, still did everything that he accomplished? What would you tell him still?
I would tell him, and I look at this in a very serious way. I would tell him to learn as much as you can, and if I have any regrets, and I have very few regrets, but is not going to college. And it's not that if I had gone to college, would I have been more successful? No. But just there's something about the college experience. I went to DC. I took 2 classes before COVID and haven't been back, but I do plan on going back maybe in January. And, I felt like Rodney Dangerfield in going back to school.
Yeah.
My backpack, I would go into class. I would sit in the lecture halls. I would be taking notes. Everybody else is fooling around on their iPads and their phones, and I'm sitting there like, write page after page after page. I'm up till 2 a.m. trying to study for a paper. I asked my wife. I said, "Can you help me with this paper?" And she said, "No, you need to do it." And I think that would be the only thing, is just I miss the college experience, and going to college in my 60s. I love it. It's a shot of adrenaline. I feel good. People look at me like, here's the old guy on campus, but he's pretty cool.
Yeah, you embrace it. You embrace all of it. Yeah.
And I love it. And I think that would be the only thing. I think that every day you need to learn something new, whether it's about yourself, whether it's about your craft, whether it's about your neighbor, or whether it's about, spirituality. you need to learn something else, because if you don't learn, if there's that one day you don't learn something, you're going to regret. And then once that regression starts, it's a runaway train, because
slippery slope.
Then and so I think the college experience, not that everybody has to go to college. Like I said, there's vocational training and things like that. But just for me personally, if this is a question tailored for me, I missed the college experience, and I loved it. And even at my age, I mean, one of my goals, and I like to, finish what I start is probably be one of the oldest people. By the time I finish it, I'll probably be too old, but I'll still be able to. I want to get my college degree, my 2 years college degree at PCC.
What degree, if I could ask?
I'm not sure. I mean, I took Spanish. I took business there. I took a business entrepreneurial class, which was an incredible class, and we took the class prize. We took the project, the entrepreneurial project space. And it was pretty cool. And we opened up a pizza restaurant, and it helped when I brought my financials and everything. We laid it out, and we blew away our professor. He knew it was me. And then we all came with suits on. And that's the one thing too. Every time you need to dress for success. You need to,
Absolutely.
to
look the
you
part.
need to, and you know better than anybody. But anytime I go to city council, I wear a suit. But when we put our presentation on and kids are in shorts, all 6 of us, we wore suits. And we got up there, and it kind of freaked people out. The teacher was thrilled, and you know what? That was 50% of the score.
Yeah.
Because we
the presentation and your presentation was on.
So schooling is very important if that's what really motivates you, and that's what kind of motivates me. And that's one of my goals there. And again, but I read as much as I can. I try to learn as much as I can. I have young children. They look up to me. They keep me young because, there's so much stuff going on today that, I mean, if it wasn't for them, I'd be in the Stone Ages on a lot of things. But we're all blessed to have the lot in life we have. The end of the day is, if whatever walk of life you challenge or is challenged to you, whatever walk of life is left out there for you to proceed on, if you leave it the place you started from better than it was before you got there, you can have peace with yourself. Your community's better. You're better. You're a better person for it. And hopefully that will inspire others to follow when you're gone. And I hope my children do the same thing.
Well, I appreciate that, because I can tell you right now, you have done that. Whenever you leave Pasadena, if you should ever leave Pasadena, you definitely left this place better, and I can attest to that because I've experienced some of the things you brought to this community, and I appreciate it. Any last words, Robin? That was a great interview, and I appreciate everything you said. Anything you want to leave with the audience before you go?
I think that I want to tell your audience that you can do anything you want. You can, somebody says you can't do it, you can do it. If your heart's in it, you can do it. When people say you can't do it, that motivates you to step up and do it. And
absolutely.
Absolutely nobody will hold you back except yourself. It is limitless. Your future is limitless, only, bridled by yourself. You hold the reins of success. So I would like to say, to your listeners, if anybody ever needs any help, if anybody needs any guidance, just wants to run some questions past me, I would love, please feel free to give them my number. You can find me probably on the internet, on Facebook, and I'd be happy to talk to you. I think that the more we prepare people for the future, the better our future and the better our children's future will be. So I think that's all part of the package, Jason, and I look forward to collaborating with you and others on the project that we talked about earlier.
Absolutely.
With our school system. And I think that we can all make a difference. And I'll tell you one thing, you do not have to sit in that swivel chair to make a difference. In fact, you make more of a difference doing it in the street and actually getting something done than talking about it.
You and I both know. But those are great words, wise words, and I would hope more people can live by them, because like I said, I live by them, you live by them, and you're, like I said, you're a mentor, you're definitely a role model, and I only have people that reflect the values that I hope to have still. Because in chasing success, you can lose your value, you can lose who you are. And I only respect people who still have kept and retained their heart, their passions, their original self. And you're very authentic. You don't change in different environments. Your tone doesn't change. The stuff you say doesn't change, whether it be inappropriate or what. By whose definition, it's always authentic you, and I appreciate that. And that's why I believe what you say. All the stuff that you have spoken on this show today is absolutely true. And I respect that, and I've seen it in action in you. So I appreciate everything you do. I thank you so much for being on our show and sharing so much game with my audience. And I appreciate you leaving your line of communication open for those, because it really is about how many people we can help and impact. Because in a selfish reason, that helps us. That helps our family. That helps the next generation. That helps our community. So if there's no other reason to help somebody else, it's to help yourself. And I'm just going to put it out there like that.
Yeah, but the peripheral, and everybody benefits from it.
Yeah.
And I really think, I guess my last words on that would be, successful people like you, like me, and many other successful people are always looking for opportunities to help others. Mm-hmm. The unsuccessful people out there, the ones that are always making excuses, are always asking, "What's in it for me?" And when you pay it forward, it comes back when you least expect it. Mm-hmm. You don't expect it at all. But the unsuccessful people are always making the excuses. Oh, I got a bad this, or this was wrong, or that was wrong. Successful people, they don't make excuses. They help people, and they motivate people, and they inspire people to be just as successful. So saying that, I will always be available to help anybody who has any type of need. I'm there for them.
And I can vouch for that. Well, thank you again, Robin, and I will be circling back with you on all the ideas we discussed, and definitely want to have you back on our show sometime.
I would love to be on, and I look forward to part 2.
Thank you. And we're going to need one. Maybe even a part 3, because you got a lot to say, my brother.
Hey, absolutely my pleasure, my honor. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Well, everybody, that was our interview with Robin Salzer, a very good brother. And like I said, I think the greatest takeaway is he keeps an open mind and he loves to learn. If you didn't learn nothing else from that interview, that's what I got out of it, man. The brother keeps an open mind and he loves to learn, and you don't stop learning. Never stop learning. Anyway, I love you guys. Man, keep checking in. lifeofaboss.net. Man, check Robin Salzer out on Facebook. He actually uses his real name on Facebook. You can just Facebook Robin Salzer and send him a friend request, and he'll probably accept you. And he does social media a lot, and I appreciate folks that are up there using social media. I love it. But anyway, love you guys. Man, keep tuning back, and yeah, remember, success is a lifestyle. Life of a boss. Peace.
Did anything stand out to you in today's show? If so, let us know. Your questions, comments, and concerns are important to Jason, as he is determined to always deliver to you only the most impactful information and content. Until next time, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and leave a review whenever possible. You may visit lifeofaboss.net for more episodes and great resources to help you become the absolute boss that you are meant to be. You can also follow Jason on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hardin. Thank you. And never forget that success is a lifestyle.